Okay, and we're off again, lads. Farm health and safety, fair element of common sense here. The big thing I always remember is a couple of years ago they got very fond of those questions where you had to identify hazards, explain what the risk was, and then what the mitigation was. Remember, that's always the important thing in a what do you call a risk assessment. Hazard is a thing. Risk is what could go wrong, and the mitigation is how you sort it out. It's just the way you say it. Anyway, right, high speed as usual. Let's go through this. All right. So there's what we're looking to do, guys. Pause and look at that to begin with. All right. Uh, Farm checks, animal transport, agrochemics and animal medicines, slurry. Oh God, I wish it would come up, but it came up strongly last year. But it's worth a wee look. Uh, Sort of then that second last bullet point, sort of general knowledge of risks associated with farm machinery, and then, like I said, hazard risk mitigation. Right, we're off. Where the hell? Oh yeah, better start it. What the hell? Okay. Boom. Right. We're not going to spend very long here. Animals have got a blind spot, how to approach them properly. Guys, pause it here if you want, but really you guys should know that. But that is a question. What sort of measures should a farmer have in place when he's going to do checks? I think we'll come to them later on. The idea of a kicking arc, we'll not worry about that. We're going to move on through that. We're going to move on through the bulls. Sheep, put them on their rump. Proper handling facilities is a phrase, okay? Proper crush, proper chutes, proper width, proper height. Backing bar, great job, and the head scoop immobilizer. Okay, slurry, we'll not waste a lot of time on. Hydrogen sulfides, the big gas. PTO shafts, we'll come back to in general, are a very important hazard. The risks around them are obvious, so we don't need, we're fine on that, okay? That's all standard mitigation when you're using slurry. Unlikely to come up, guys. Just take a look at it. Animal transport is one that crops up. Don't worry too much about this. Don't worry about too much about this. Don't worry too much about this. Don't worry about too much about this is the one. Stop. Look at this. Right. Pause it here. This is the key page. Okay. And that's the question that they like to ask you about the requirements. Okay. For the different types. Right. Stall that. There's a question there, or there's an issue there. Just always worth a pass for an animal to be fit for travel. So, what thing must be in place? Well, the animals must be fit for travel is something that you could include as well. That's a phrase that means something, as you can see there. Okay, this one hasn't cropped up in a while. It's definitely worth a look. Animal medicines, agrochemicals, antimicrobial resistance. There's a big thing. Things that you need to be aware of, okay? Dosage rate, how much? Method of administering it. Is it into the muscle or is it subcutaneous? Okay, so that you don't create a health risk. And then the very important was the concept of the withdrawal period. Okay, uh, so that's important. Okay, probably hygiene, not spreading disease around. Changing the needle for every animal, all that sort of thing. Okay, uh, children, PPE, we'll come to all that. So measures to mitigate against risk when you're using agrochemicals, proper storage, higher rates of children, disposal of out-of-date medicines, proper cupboard to keep them in, and so on. Machinery, guys, that's fine. PTO shafts. When we come to the past paper questions, you'll see quite a lot of this. We can twist a lot of this back to PTO shafts, or for that matter, hydraulic pipes. Say that they are the risks because they could become frayed and they could bust, and you could have a hydraulic failure. Or then the PTO shafts we know is how you need the guardrails, you'll get wrapped up in them, and so on. Okay. Uh, should be okay on all those. And then risk assessments we've talked about. Okay, I'm out of that. Right, I'm out of that now. Sorry, guys, I better stop sharing. Which leads me, I'm trying to do this at high speed. I'm trying to do every topic as quickly as possible. Which leads me then to the past paper questions. Well, got them. So again, I'm off here fairly high speed, lads. You'll see what has come up a lot. There you are. How can a farmer check cattle in a pen to prevent injury? Right. There we go. And there, that one was unusual in that they actually sort of gave you the information in that question. You had to use it to identify them. Other times, you're more likely to have to use your own common sense, lads. hazards, risks, and then how you can reduce them. Slurry, the same thing. Why can it be dangerous? There you are, 2015, two legal requirements for movement of animals over longer distance. Three important things a farmer must understand regarding safety in medicines. We've just looked at that. There you are. Three features of a risk assessment are identify the hazard, identify the risk, identify the mitigation. Okay, slurry again. Oh, I wish it would come up again. How would you ensure animals are ready for safety? So this became a 9-pointer. Go back to the answer scheme on that question. As this one, this one about animal transport could come up again. How would you ensure they're well? Make sure that they're fit, that they're not limping, that their tags are correct, all that sort of stuff, that they're in good health, make sure that they're TB free, you can't sail, that sort of stuff. How to approach and safely load, that's fine. Proper case, a lot of that's common sense. And then that one there, what are the requirements? And that's that stuff about having to have the certificates, having to have the training and so on. So that is definitely one to spend some time on, lads. Okay, blah, 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 precautions, there we go. This is what they got fond of for a couple of years. What's the hazard? What's the risk? How do you reduce it? Same thing the next year. What's the hazard? For example, that trailer there, the hydraulic pipe can be one of your hazards. Okay, it become frayed, it could fail, then your trailer could bang down, and then you don't even ask for mitigation for that. Same thing again there. And again there, for example, again, you could have the hydraulic pipe or the blades, or any amount of things, visibility, or all those things we've talked about those enough. Okay, another one about how to approach farmers, another one about animal medicine, slurry, and there was nothing in 2024, and slurry came up last year. All right, guys, so I hope you found that useful. All right, and now, as ever, I try and stop this so I'm done in good time for this to be a bite size. Bye.